Cheers to you. If you don't know by now, my name is Adam Goodson, and I really want to introduce my buddy Jesse, who's really like a badass in my men's group. Maybe I don't have let him speak yet, but I just really want to brag about him. Jesse is entrepreneur. You own your own company.
Yep.
Here in San Diego, you mostly handyman stuff like construction work and really making people's living environments look and feel better for them. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Like remodeling houses and stuff.
And I'd say probably in the last 2 weeks, you've really been able to. I've really noticed a big difference in the work that you've done in the past 12 months. It seems like that's really coming to fruition, and we've had a lot of like more deeper conversations. You say it's true, or has it been like a longer process for you?
It was a slow. It was a slow process to start.
Yeah.
But in the last I'd say even less than 12 months, like 6 to 8 months, I have made some like major strides and changes, things that were just like kind of plaguing me, stuff that like I was trying to work at for years.
Okay.
And stuff that just wasn't clicking for me. And just recently, less than a year, I've had some major realizations, and
yeah,
I just wanted to kind of share just some of the stuff that's like really just helped me. The stuff that's like just I've overcome, for one, and how I got there.
So Jesse has expressed to me he's really looking to be a coach, to actually reach out and help other people, like you say, like in their 20s and 30s, young men.
Absolutely.
Kind of like coming to like the dating and money and life and spirituality and some of those things that you've encountered. Now, like, maybe, because, you know, like, I know you have a different set of eyes, a different set of experience. What do you think that, like, maybe, like, the three things that maybe 90% of the people out there could just, if they just did this, it would be a drastic change for their life?
The first one that comes to mind that I just made some major life changes for myself is being extremely honest, like ridiculously honest with people that you meet, friends, family, women you're dating, and almost more importantly is authenticity and honesty with yourself, like where you're at in life, what you're actually looking for. Do you want to meet this girl and do you just want to date her casually? Do you want to marry this woman potentially? That one thing, for when I do go on a date, that has made everything just so much better.
So like chicks just totally dig the fact that you're just like, yo, I like the way you look in that dress. You look sexy. Like you have a different layer of honesty.
A different layer of honesty, because in the past I would say I go on a date and I'd meet this girl and be like, oh, like thinking to myself, oh my god, this girl looks so hot. Like look at those jeans, like they're amazing. And I would just become like hold it and I'm like that's not respectful. I'm just gonna hold back. You know, I'll wait till later and I get to know her. Then I'll share. Then I'll tell her. Then I'll let it out.
Oh really?
And ironically, I would never see that girl again, because I think in 100 little ways I was not coming across honestly. I was not coming across authentically, and she could feel it. She could tell that maybe I wanted something. I had a girl once tell me, like on a date, she's like, "You just seem like you have an agenda." Like,
oh my god, yeah.
And I didn't even know what the agenda was. For one, I wasn't clear what I wanted with her. I'm like, oh, she's just cute and she's fun, and so I asked her out and we went on this hike and like got sushi. And
but you really want to have sex with her though.
But really, I wanted to have sex with her. And I wasn't even admitting to myself.
Yeah.
And so like when she said like, I feel like you have an agenda, I was like kind of pissed. I'm like, what do you mean I have an agenda?
Right.
I don't have an agenda. I'm a good Christian boy. I'm like, good Christian boys don't want sex. Like,
it's wrong.
That's wrong. Like,
I had one girl once just do something similar to me. She said, like, you act too smooth. Like, you're too smooth. I was like, oh. And she kind of accused me of being a sociopath. And I was like, what? And like, that hit me really hard. I was like, what? But I didn't show it. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, you remind me of that character, Patrick Bateman from American Psycho. And I sat there and just because I was who I am, being more comfortable in my skin, but also being more comfortable with my shit. I was like, and other people's like zings that they give to me, I was like, oh, so you think I'm a lady killer, huh? it's just like,
no.
And then she kind of like owned it and got scared, but then I ended up sleeping with her that night.
Oh.
And it was like.
And I feel like that maybe that's what it was. It's like something wasn't coming across like congruent and authentic in the beginning, and then like as soon as you just like, this is where I'm at. Like you just said it, and she's like, oh okay.
Yeah. Or like, have you seen 21 Jump Street?
Yeah.
The movie?
Mm-hmm.
And Steve Buscemi's like sitting there and he's like, hey, fellow high school kids. And it's like, that's what I think people look like when they're not being authentic and they're just being incongruent and they're just, would you agree with that statement? Or you think it's
100%. I mean, on a surface level and like a basic level, that's 100% true. And on a deeper level, that's true because I think everyone is kind of attuned to this at all times in a subtle way. Like they're almost like their body reacts to like this person who's not being congruent. It kind of gets like that, like mistrustful.
Okay.
And
very
like
cool.
that's the feeling I get. Like if I meet a guy or a girl, that's just kind of like something they're like putting on a personality, putting on something.
Yeah.
Like a personality trait or trying to be too cool or that something along those lines, and then they come across as incongruent, and you're just like, oh, what's with this person like?
Yeah, so like maybe you could give those guys, like I know we talk about like talking to girls, and I'm more of a pickup guy, but maybe in your day-to-day experiences, because I know you also do a lot of professional networking, you do a lot of sales, you do a lot of contract work, what are some things that you say as an authentic hello? I mean, we call them openers in sales and in pickup, but what is like something these guys or girls out there could hear? Like, what's something you could say authentic to somebody when you first meet them to get that experience to be more meaningful? It sounds like. I mean, did you say it's more meaningful when you're authentic?
It's more meaningful, and yeah, it's more meaningful because it's real. It's actually coming from what your thoughts are.
Yeah.
You don't want to necessarily like share like your darkest, dirtiest thoughts like in the first 5 seconds, but. I'll just give you an example.
Yeah.
I went out surfing in PB on Saturday.
Okay.
And you know when I was surfing, it was great. Threw my surfboard in the back of my truck, and I went and grabbed a coffee across the street. And I see this beautiful girl. She just got done jogging, and I was just like, oh wow! Like I was kind of like in shock for a second. Then I'm like, just relax.
Yeah.
And I literally just told her, I'm like, hey, I just saw you. You look beautiful. Like you just went for a jog. Like how was the jog? She's like, oh. She's kind of like. Oh, hi, and then like didn't know what to do, and then she got very comfortable because I was just very comfortable saying it.
Yeah.
Because I was relating authentically. I was just like telling her exactly what was on my mind. Like I was like, oh, looks like you had a good jog. And I just told her I thought you looked beautiful. And
so it sounds like you also did 2 observations, and then you asked for her opinion too. Like you're beautiful. Obviously, you was there jogging, and then you asked. How was the jog? Like, what was her experience like? Instead of you you allowed her in the conversation instead of like what a lot of pickup artists and a lot of guys do.
Yeah, because for years I would try to overcome shyness, and I would just like use these things that are in my head, like predetermined lines.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're really good lines. Got all these great reviews online. Like, this guy said they used them and it worked. I'm like, oh, that's the line. That's what I need to say.
Yeah.
And it would come across as kind of fake or gamey or weird.
So don't sound gamey or salesy. Don't sound weird, but be honest.
Be honest. But the thing is, it's like, it's really hard, even if it's the best line ever and you're doing it in such a smooth way, there's still going to be something subtly telling this person that you're not being authentic. So it's got to be authentic to have that really quick, authentic connection and make that person just... I really think it's just trust. Like, they instantly trust you because you're coming from an honest place. You're just saying, this is what's on my mind.
Awesome.
And just letting them hear it.
Really cool. So, for all you people out there, this is Jesse. So for you guys' attention span, and for the amount of time that it takes for me to load up YouTube videos, we're going to stop right here. But there's going to be like 2 or 3 more of these videos of you and I just sitting here chilling out, drinking beer, and talking about life and how we do stuff. So here's to us and to you.
Cheers.
And see us in the next part. And then if you want to get a hold of Jesse, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, if you want to talk about any of the stuff that we're going to be discussing in this video and maybe the next 2 parts, just hit me up on Facebook. I'd be happy to talk to you.
Cool.
Tell you my experience and how I overcame some of these things that have just like really held me back for a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, message me.
Very cool. And then like, I didn't talk about this with Jesse before, but I'm going to do a dark masculine thing workshop coming up soon. Would you want to do like a small intro part in that?
Yeah.
Does that put you on the spot?
No, sure, why not? No, I'd love to. I went to part 1 and it was awesome. Part 2, from what I hear, is going to be even more.
Yeah, I had to do
it's
a
going
bunch
to
of
be killer.
scrubbing. I'm just like so.
You scrap your
excited.
whole original idea.
I said no, we're doing this instead. It's gonna be more powerful, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be fantastic. But
yeah,
so that sounds good. So
look for that coming
look for
up,
that, and then we'll work more on that details. But this is Adam, Jesse. We'll see you in part 2 and 3. We're at the beach with beautiful women jogging.
Peace.